Hi, welcome back to Sunday School. This week in the life of the church is Epiphany, and we celebrate that on January 6th, the day when the Magi, or the three kings, came to the Nativity to honor baby Jesus with their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I brought this nativity set back from a trip to Kenya, Africa, and I love it because it's simple and it's woven of natural materials. And here are our three kings as they honor baby Jesus. Today's story is going to be another celebration of Three Kings Days, but in the Latino culture, it is called El Dia de Rios, and it is called Three Kings Day for those with Latino American heritage. And we are reading the book called The Storyteller's Candle by Lucia Gonzalez, illustrated by Lulu Delacree. And it tells the story of a New York City librarian in the 1930s who was born in a little town of Ciedro, Puerto Rico, in a home full of storytellers. The stories she heard from her grandmother had been handed down by word of mouth for generations, and these stories came with her to the United States in the early 1920s. Pura Belpre began her career as a children's librarian when she became the first Puerto Rican librarian to be hired by the New York Public Library System. She had a great passion for her library work, and her passion lasted a lifetime. In 1932, she wrote a children's classic called Perez and Martina, and over the long course of her career as a writer, storyteller, and librarian, Pura Belpre inspired generations of young people in communities she served. She wished to be like Johnny Appleseed. She had read about him in one of her books in Puerto Rico, and so as a storyteller, she planted her seeds across our land. So this is the story of Pura Belpre. During the early years of the Great Depression, 1929 to 1935, many Puerto Rican families left their little island to find work and better opportunities in the big city, Nueva York. Most lived in a section of northern Manhattan that became known as El Barrio, which means the neighborhood in Spanish. Winter was harsh for the people of El Barrio. This was when they missed their island's tropical warmth. But during this time, something wonderful happened. A talented storyteller named Pura Belpre was hired to work as the first librarian in the New York Public Library System with a background in Latin heritage. Through her work, her stories, and her books, Pura Belpre brought the warmth and beauty of Puerto Rico to the children of El Barrio. Hildemar shivered with cold as she walked home from school with her cousin Santiago. The icy afternoon wind froze their hands and burned their faces. It was the last week of school before winter break. It was also Hildemar's first Navidad in New York. The winter surprised Hildemar. She'd never felt so cold before. Only a few months earlier, Hildemar had traveled with her family from Puerto Rico to New York on a large ship called El Ponce. The journey took 5 days. Now the summer sun seemed very far from El Barrio, and so Hildemar and Santiago rushed home as fast as they could to warm their hands by the old-fashioned stove. That evening, the family sat down to eat together. "Bendito," Mama Ninita said with a sigh. "How I miss the soft breeze of December nights on our little island." "Ah," said Tio Pedro, Santiago's father, "I miss the delicious pasteles and the smell of roasting pork everywhere. I remember the parandas and the aguinaldos, when family and neighbors came to visit, sing, dance, and eat," said Titi Maria, Santiago's mother, closing her eyes and humming. "El Dia de los Reyes, Three Kings Day, was the best day of the year," Santiago chimed in. "Do the kings travel this far?" asked Hildemar. "Will they come this year?" The next day, like every day on their way to school, Hildemar, Santiago, and Titi Maria passed a tall building with windows that seemed to invite them inside. This building was different from the dark apartment buildings that stretched from one street corner to the other. "Titi Maria, what's inside?" Hildemar asked Can we go in? That's the library, Titi Maria replied, and libraries are not for noisy ninos like you. How about for grown-ups like you? Asked Santiago. We don't speak English, and the people in there don't speak Spanish, she told them, and so it was that they never went inside. But then, that afternoon, a special guest came to Hildemar and Santiago's class. She was a tall, slender woman with dark eyes that sparkled like luceros in the night sky. When she spoke, her hands moved through the air like the wings of a bird. Buenos dias, good morning, she said. My name is Pura Belpre. I come from the public library, and I bring stories and puppets to share with you today. Ms. Belpre told stories with puppets in English and in Espanol. Everyone laughed at the story of silly Juan Bobo chasing a three-legged pot. At the end of her show, Miss Belpre invited the children to visit the library during winter vacation. The library is for everyone. La biblioteca es para todos, she said. Hildemar couldn't wait to tell everyone in El Barrio the good news. When Titi Maria picked the children up from school that day, they told her about the special guest, the stories, the puppets, and the library. Titi, they speak Spanish at the library, Hildemar shouted. Can we go to the library today? Santiago begged. Espanol? In the library? Today? In the library? But Nines, I'm very busy today, she explained. I promise I'll take you one day. I want Mama to come too, said Hildemar, but she's always working. Maybe we can go on a Saturday, suggested Titi Maria. Viva! Hooray! Hildemar and Santiago clapped and skipped all the way to the Bodega Santurisi, where Don Ramon and Dona Sofia sold habichuelas, fresh vegetables, bread, and café. And why are these ninos so happy today? Asked Dona Sofia, leaning from behind the countertop. Tell us, what's the good news? Asked Don Ramon. Don Ramon, they speak Spanish at the library, declared Hildemar. The other customers in the store were very interested in what Hildemar had to say. Que bueno, they exclaimed. Do they have books in Spanish too? Dona Sofia wanted to know. Bueno, ya veremos. We'll see, said Don Ramos. That Saturday, Hildemar's mother and Titi Maria invited Dona Sofia and Don Ramon to come with them to the library. Santiago invited his best friend, Manuel. The group walked along the snow-covered sidewalks, remembering Navidades back home. Soon they arrived at the handsome building. The adults stopped to look up at the tall doors, doubting whether they should go inside. Hildemar, Santiago, and Manuel ran up the stairs, leaving them behind. They couldn't wait. Inside, children filled the story room. Miss Belpre welcomed them with a smile. Bienvenidos, welcome, she said. The storyteller's candle was lit, and soon the story began. Había una vez y dos centre en Puerto Rico. Once upon a time in Puerto Rico. Ms. Belpre told the story that Hildemar and Santiago had heard from their grandmother about a beautiful Spanish cockroach named Martina and a gallant little mouse called Ratoncito Perez. The story ended with a wave of applause. Now close your eyes and make a wish, whispered Ms. Belpre. We'll blow out the storyteller's candle and your wish will come true. The children closed their eyes tight and wished. What would you wish for? When the children opened their eyes, Ms. Belpre made a special announcement. El Dia de los Reyes, Three Kings Day is coming. This year, we want to have a big fiesta at the library with a play and dancers and a parade. The play will be the story of Perez and Martina. Who wants to be in the play? Santiago raised his hand. I want to help, he called. I want to help too, the others chimed in. Santiago was chosen to be Ratoncito Perez. Hildemar raised her hand. Her heart was beating fast when Miss Belpre picked her to play the most important part. Cucciolita Martina. We have the cast of characters, said Miss Belpre, but we will also need costumes, music, and a stage. Soon word got around. They speak Spanish at the library. And there's going to be a fiesta for Three Kings Day there. Donna Sofia and Don Ramon, who told Padre Simon, who made an announcement at church. That Sunday, after morning mass, the Vicenzos gathered together. Even Pura Belpre attended the meeting. For the first time, they said, El Dia de los Reyes will be celebrated in New York. Everyone wanted to help. I'll make the costumes, said Titi Maria. I'll make the curtains for the stage, said Mama Nanita, who worked in a sewing factory. And I'll make the stage, said Don Ramon. I was a carpenter in Puerto Rico. From that day on, the neighbors went to the library every day to help with the preparations for the big event. They were very happy to discover books and magazines for them in Espanol on the shelves. The children rehearsed the play, the dances, and the stories. Don Ramon donated boxes and crates from his bodega to make the decorations. The mothers from El Barrio met at church or the library to paint, cut, and paste. Finally, by the evening of January 5th, the library was ready for Three Kings Day. And you can see there's the three kings up on the mantle. The next day, everyone came from far and near. Outside, the snow was rising high. Inside the library, the logs burned in an open fireplace, and the storyteller's candle flickered. The room bubbled with the voices of children and adults. Everyone spoke at once, in Spanish and in English. Ay, qué lindo, how beautiful! The reading room had become an island in the Caribbean. A group of children sang Aguinaldos, while others waited impatiently for the show to begin. And notice that our three kings up here are on horses, and that is the Spanish tradition that they came on horses, not on camels. Asalto, boomed the voice of the parranderos, surprising everyone. The children stretched up on tiptoe for a good look. Donna Sofia shook the maracas. Chicky, chicky, chick, chicky, chick. Don Ramon scraped the guero. Chacara, chacara, chuck. And leading the group, strumming the cuatro, was Señor Lebrun. Suddenly, they were there, the three kings. They marched through the room, sprinkling the children with candies and sweets. The music stopped and the play began. Many years ago, in a little round house with a little round balcony, there once lived a Spanish cockroach named Martina. Hildemar stepped on stage. She was the most beautiful cockroach. And Santiago, ah, what a handsome little mouse. Ms. Belpre concluded the show in her usual way. Close your eyes and make a wish, she whispered as she held the storyteller's candle. Hildemar closed her eyes and wished, and when she opened them, her eyes met Mrs. Belpre's. With her gentle smile and twinkling eyes, Ms. Belpre said, "Today, with everyone's help, we brought the warmth and the beauty of Puerto Rico to New York. Remember, the library belongs to you all. We'll blow out the storyteller's candle, and your wish will come true." So I hope that this Sunday you'll continue to think about Jesus' birth in the manger and how he came as a savior for everyone. And think about the kings that traveled from afar, from different countries, all following the same star. And they met at the manger and gave their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the baby Jesus, so that they could honor him as Jesus, God's only Son. And for our craft this week, an activity, you'll find that there is a recipe for a Three Kings Day cake. And when the cake is baked, in Spanish culture, they put a little fava bean in there. And whoever gets that slice of cake with the bean will be the king for the day and have good luck in the new year. There's also an activity to make your own 3 kings or wise men or magi, as they're all called, as part of your decorations that you can use for Christmas time next year. So I hope you'll enjoy.